Shockwaves rippled through the BTS fandom and entertainment industry early this morning as Jin, the eldest member of global supergroup BTS, was spotted arriving in the United States just days after Jungkook's secretive departure stirred speculation worldwide. The twist? HYBE has issued no official statement, no confirmation, and no denial, raising serious questions about whether the label is losing its grip on its most powerful artists. Jin, who completed his military service ahead of other members and recently re-entered the spotlight with grace and charm, was seen alone at Incheon Airport, boarding a late-night flight bound for Los Angeles. Dressed in a simple black hoodie and baseball cap, the global superstar attempted to keep a low profile, but armies and paparazzi quickly identified him. The timing is no coincidence. Just days ago, Jungkook was seen landing in the US, shrouded in mystery and escorted by heightened security. HYBE's silence about Jungkook's destination or purpose already set fans on edge, and now Jin's unexpected move has sent theories and panic into overdrive. The core question now echoing across every social platform: is HYBE still in control of BTS, or are the members taking matters into their own hands? A power shift in real time. For over a decade, HYBE, formerly Big Hit Entertainment, has managed BTS with a careful balance of strategic promotions and airtight public relations. But this new development suggests a crack in the foundation. The world's biggest boy band, arguably its most influential artists, are now moving internationally, without press, without schedule announcements, and without agency supervision. Jin flying out without a single word from HYBE is not just surprising, it's alarming, said one anonymous industry insider. It suggests either something is being hidden or the members are now operating with full autonomy. If true, this marks a radical departure from K-pop norms, where idol schedules are usually disclosed and tightly controlled by management. Internal disarray or strategic coup, some speculate that this sudden movement could be linked to internal disagreements between BTS members and HYBE regarding future directions, especially with a full group reunion looming following all military discharges by June 2025. With Festa 2025 scheduled for mid-June, fans had expected all members to remain in South Korea for rehearsals, group content, and celebratory events. Now, Jin and Jungkook's unannounced departure to the US has left a vacuum of clarity. Could this be a sign of rebellion, or an internal project brewing without HYBE's direct oversight? Sources close to the agency have declined to comment, while HYBE's press office has yet to return multiple requests for a statement. The news has caused a visible divide among fans. Some armies believe this is a positive move, signaling that BTS is finally breaking free from the rigid K-pop idol system and claiming control over their own careers. Others, however, fear that the uncoordinated international movements could point to deeper unrest behind the scenes. This doesn't feel like a planned trip. This feels like something's wrong, wrote one concerned fan on Twitter. Where is the communication? Where is HYBE? Why aren't they saying anything? Strategic silence or dangerous oversight. In the world of high-stakes global entertainment, silence is rarely accidental. It's often calculated, but sometimes it's just panic behind closed doors. The fact that neither Jin nor Jungkook have updated fans through Weverse, Instagram, or live broadcasts is further fueling anxiety. Could the duo be filming a secret documentary or music project? Are they in talks with American producers or brands? Or is there a crisis that's being covered up? Notably, Jungkook's recent involvement with Calvin Klein and other global endorsements positions him as a prime solo figure in the West, and Jin's unexpected arrival has prompted fans to theorize that a duo project or hybrid promotion could be underway, entirely outside the scope of what fans and the agency expected. The silence from HYBE is no longer just strategic, it's starting to feel like negligence. As Jin's unexpected arrival in the United States continues to dominate social media, fans are growing increasingly restless. Not because the members are traveling, BTS has always been known to surprise their audience, but because of the complete lack of transparency, especially during a time when every move is being magnified tenfold. Jin, known for his loyalty and protective nature, isn't someone who acts recklessly. His decision to board a trans-Pacific flight just days after Jungkook, without public explanation, has left even industry insiders stunned. What could possibly compel the eldest BTS member, recently discharged and with promotional responsibilities for Festa just around the corner, to leave the country in near silence? Some fans believe this is a response to growing satiating threats and intense fan surveillance around Jungkook. His movements in the US have already raised red flags, especially after disturbing reports of obsessive fan tracking and potential security breaches surfaced earlier this week. Jin may very well be doing what big brothers do best, showing up when things get dangerous. But the bigger story here might not be about protection. It might be about power. There's growing suspicion that Jin and Jungkook are laying the foundation for something massive, something that HYBE either isn't prepared to announce or may not even fully control. The theory of a subunit, or even a rebranded BTS chapter centered on fewer members, is quickly gaining momentum. Why else would two of the most influential figures in K-pop disappear into the American entertainment landscape at the exact same time without any press or agency confirmation? The thought is electrifying. The eldest and youngest, two ends of the BTS spectrum, meeting overseas in secret. It's poetic. It's calculated. It's potentially revolutionary. And while HYBE has yet to respond, fans have already taken the wheel of the narrative. Speculation has evolved into full-blown campaigns. Conspiracy threads are multiplying on platforms like Reddit and X, formerly Twitter, with armies comparing timestamps, decoding airport footage, and even matching luggage styles in desperate attempts to unravel the mystery. What's perhaps most alarming to longtime observers is how this situation reflects a dramatic shift in dynamics between BTS and their agency. The days when every move was pre-planned, pre-filmed, and pre-approved might be over. These aren't rookies anymore. These are men in their 30s, global powerhouses, who have served their country, conquered the world, and earned the right to decide their own destiny. HYBE, for all its corporate muscle, seems to be scrambling, or worse, choosing to stay silent in the hopes that the storm will pass. But this is BTS. Silence doesn't extinguish speculation, it amplifies it. And now that two of the most beloved members are halfway across the globe, their faces hidden behind masks, their purpose unknown, the fandom is entering dangerous territory. Some are hopeful, dreaming of an artistic collaboration, a surprise release, maybe even a cinematic project. Others are worried that this is the first step toward BTS drifting apart, not by force, but by choice. And still others wonder if HYBE has lost more than control. Perhaps they've lost the trust of the members themselves, in a landscape where image is everything, where every step is usually orchestrated to perfection. The rawness of this situation feels jarring. There are no V-Live confessions, no Weverse posts, no behind-the-scenes footage to soften the blow. There is only distance, physical, emotional, and narrative. It's not hard to imagine Jungkook walking through the glossy corridors of an LA studio, earbuds in, head low, rehearsing lyrics for a track no one knows exists. It's equally easy to picture Jin arriving, not with an entourage, but with quiet resolve, stepping into that same studio with the same unspoken mission. They don't need to announce themselves anymore. Their mere presence is enough to set the internet on fire. The world is watching now, not because of an official teaser or music drop, but because of a fracture in routine. Something unpredictable. Something real. This isn't polished content. This is movement. Raw, silent, and unsupervised. Whatever is happening in America between Jin and Jungkook, it's not an accident. Whether it's a rebellion, a reunion, or a reckoning, this moment will be remembered. And while HYBE stays quiet, the message grows louder. BTS is no longer just the agency's crown jewel. They're the kings of their own story, and they've just begun writing the next chapter in a place far from home, under a spotlight no one can dim. The mystery thickens with each passing hour, and the silence from HYBE only fans the flames of speculation. As the images of Jin strolling out of LAX under heavy disguise circulate across every major platform, questions now outnumber answers. Why now? Why Jungkook first, then Jin? Why without any communication? Not even a breadcrumb of a hint to the loyal armies who have stood by them for over a decade. In an industry where idols are usually tethered tightly to pre-approved schedules and layered PR strategies, this kind of unsupervised movement is not just rare, it's radical. Jin and Jungkook aren't just flying across borders. They're possibly flying past the rules, rewriting the script that's governed K-pop careers for years. As fans dig deeper into timelines, one connection keeps coming up: the symbolic timing with Festa 2025. The event, celebrating BTS's 12th anniversary, is just days away, yet two key members are now an ocean away from Seoul. Could this be intentional defiance? Could Jin and Jungkook be working on something so monumental that even the anniversary plans had to take a backseat? Or is it something far more fragile? There's a growing theory that what we're witnessing isn't the launch of a new project, but a quiet act of preservation. Jungkook, under extreme scrutiny and pressure, may have retreated to the US to escape the ever-encroaching Seokjin presence in South Korea. And Jin, ever the protector, may have followed to offer something no agency can: brotherhood, safety, and calm. If true, this isn't about rebellion, it's about survival. But then, why the silence from HYBE? If they had nothing to hide, why not release a simple statement? Jungkook is working on international promotions, or Jin is accompanying his bandmate on personal business? In the absence of clarity, even the most loyal fans are starting to question the once untouchable label. Behind the scenes, sources suggest that HYBE's internal structure has grown strained in recent months. With all 7 members set to reunite post-service, creative differences, future directions, and solo ambitions are reportedly clashing with corporate expectations. Could Jin and Jungkook's sudden departure be the result of a power struggle behind closed doors? Others are more optimistic, believing this is the duo seizing their creative freedom. Jin, known for his emotional depth and acting aspirations, and Jungkook, a born performer with crossover appeal, may be testing the waters for a joint film, an international endorsement campaign, or even a cinematic music release. The fact that both have proven their ability to go global on their own only fuels the possibility that this is their way of showing the world, and perhaps their own agency, that BTS isn't just a brand. It's a movement that lives within each member, wherever they go. At this point, any theory is as valid as the next. The truth, for now, belongs only to Jin and Jungkook. But the silence around them, that's everyone's to interpret. It's in the thousands of posts flooding social media. It's in the worried comments beneath fan cams and airport footage. It's in the quiet panic behind HYBE's inaction. This isn't a story about a simple flight to Los Angeles. This is about autonomy, about breaking out of the box that K-pop idols are placed in, about what happens when legends decide they no longer need permission to move. As armies refresh their feeds for any sign of communication, a whisper builds into a collective roar. What's happening to BTS? Not just the group, but the legacy, the power dynamic, the control, the freedom. Are we witnessing the start of a new era, one where the members act as free agents, commanding their own careers beyond the structure of an entertainment company? Or are we witnessing the unraveling of something once thought unbreakable? The answers aren't coming fast, but the impact is already here, because this isn't just a chapter in BTS's timeline. This feels like a prologue to something entirely new, something ungoverned, something raw and real. And whatever Jin and Jungkook are planning or escaping, the world is watching, breath held, heart racing, waiting for the next move. It's the stillness that unnerves people the most. The kind of stillness that doesn't come from peace, but from anticipation, like the pause before a storm or the silence backstage right before the curtain rises. Jin and Jungkook, 2 of BTS's most iconic and emotionally expressive members, are now in a place completely detached from the usual rhythms of K-pop. Their decision to leave Korea days before BTS's highly anticipated 12th anniversary Festa event is not just out of character, it's disruptive. But perhaps that disruption is the point. Fans who once trusted every move coordinated by HYBE are now combing through every pixel of grainy airport footage, rereading past interviews, and revisiting cryptic lyrics with new eyes. What did Jungkook mean when he said, "Sometimes I want to disappear quietly without telling anyone"? What did Jin mean when he said after his enlistment, "When I return, I want to live differently, with more freedom"? Those words, once poetic or symbolic, now feel dangerously literal. Industry insiders, always quick to dismiss fan theories, are surprisingly quiet this time. Whispers suggest that Jin's arrival in the US wasn't just spontaneous, it was necessary. That there was an emergency, not in the physical sense, but in a more personal one. A moment where one friend, Won Hyung, knew that his dongsing needed more than management or security could offer. Some sources even speculate that Jungkook's initial trip wasn't entirely solo. That Jin had planned to go with him but was delayed by contract obligations, by agency resistance, or by hesitation. And now, catching up, he's made a move that symbolically breaks rank, choosing his fellow member over protocol. If that's true, it speaks volumes about the inner workings of BTS as a unit, one that remains bound by something far stronger than paperwork. As all eyes shift toward the US, the Korean press remains oddly muted. Major news outlets haven't published in-depth coverage, and even HYBE-focused forums seem hesitant to ignite further discussion. That silence has only strengthened the sense that something larger is at play. Because silence, in the BTS world, has never meant absence, it has always meant build-up. and what could be building now is unprecedented. Perhaps it's a private recording project between the two, an experimental mixtape, a short film, or even a Netflix-level documentary. Perhaps it's something more conceptual, a quiet protest, a renegotiation of the narrative, a way for the members to show that even after years of training, discipline, and global expectation, they are not idols bound by a system. They are men, artists, and more than that, they are brothers, moving as they must, without explanation. Fans watching this unfold aren't just consuming content anymore, they're witnessing history being made in real time. The Jin and Jungkook flight story isn't a PR campaign. It wasn't teased with trailers, nor dripped in the typical BTS comeback fashion. It was raw, unfiltered, and unexpected. The kind of moment that reminds people why BTS rose above every other act in the first place, because they've always chosen sincerity over strategy when it mattered most. And maybe that's what this is. A sincere choice. Not for attention, not for disruption, but for one another. Still, in the world of global entertainment, sincerity doesn't protect you from consequences. HYBE's brand has always relied on its synchronization with BTS. Their identities are, to many, interchangeable. But if BTS is beginning to act independently, if members are moving without agency coordination or press briefings, it could signal a shift in the very structure of idol management. IT could also be a wake-up call for the rest of the K-pop industry. The idea that superstars, true global superstars, no longer need permission to create, to travel, or even to disappear. That perhaps, after years of building the system, it's finally time for the artists to dismantle it from within. Jin and Jungkook, intentionally or not, are leading that charge. Whatever is happening now in the US, it's clear that this is not a mistake. It is not accidental. This is deliberate, and it is powerful. Because in a world where every movement is typically monetized, manufactured, and measured, their silent presence speaks louder than any choreographed comeback. They're writing their story, and they're doing it on their own terms. And that, perhaps, is the most revolutionary thing of all.